haven't like talked to another human being all day. I've been working from home, and I haven't had any of those Zoom meetings that everyone is talking about. So this will be the first time I open my mouth all day. Welcome everyone. Keyword Crypto free jazz interpretive dance episodes where we don't have a guest and we're just making shit up on the spot.
Yes. We're
even doing something special today since everybody is at home, I guess, and has short attention spans and can't listen for very long, or you're not in your car and you're not beholden to us for an entire hour. We're going to try to do shorter episodes. Is that right, Michael?
Yeah, we're thinking about doing one long one, then we'll cut it up for you guys and kind of like space them out over time just to like make it easier. Because Mike in space can't sit down for a whole hour apparently anymore. So we're doing it just for him.
Well, when are you supposed to, like when you're cooking? Are you going to cook for an hour and listen to us?
I do. I listen to podcasts. I listen to about an hour and a half of podcasts a day over time. But I'm also alone.
When is a good time to listen to Keyword Crypto? When is a good time?
When you're cooking breakfast and eating breakfast. When you're cooking lunch and eating lunch.
Your family.
When you're, oh yeah, true. See, I'm coming at it from a single person's perspective, living alone in an apartment by myself.
Hey fam, hey kids, let's go listen to those two dorks that don't know anything talk about crypto.
And that Michael guy curse like a fucking sailor.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess when you're out on what were you
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I guess if you're taking walks that, through the park, I guess we're still allowed to do that, right? We're still allowed to take parks as long as we mask up.
Yeah. I mean, I think the worry is if everybody sees everybody doing it, then everyone's going to do it, and then you're going to have a million people out in the park, and it's going to be impossible to be 6 feet away from each other.
I'm already seeing the fashion.
Going to get it.
Seeing the fashion statement, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like in my neighborhood, everyone's running and biking. I'll bike to the grocery store. That's my exercise. I do that like once a week, and then just work out in my house the rest of the time, and then sit in my driveway to get a little bit of sun.
Well, in my neighborhood, there's teenagers don't need to quarantine apparently because they're always out, right? They're just that's the thing.
Apparently,
they can't get or transmit COVID, so they're just fine.
Apparently, they're just immune.
Yeah.
So really fast, I want to ask you about Zoom, and I'm going to do a poll on Twitter because I refuse to do Zoom meetings just because of all the shady shit they've been doing. This has been going on for a year and a half. A year and a half ago, I deleted it from all my devices because they were like, oh, by the way, when you download it, it downloads extra software that you're not aware of that stays on your computer and allows them to access your camera. So ever since then, I refused to use Zoom. And then even more in the last couple of weeks, everyone's finding all this shady shit that Zoom's been doing. And it's just like, how are people still using this? And most governments aren't letting their employees use Zoom now. Elon Musk isn't letting his Tesla workers use Zoom for Tesla stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
Go ahead. I was going to say, one thing that you should always do is keep the piece of tape over your camera. It's one thing when I worked for this one company where I'm not allowed to tell you who I worked for, but I worked for a really important big company, and we weren't allowed to have any cameras in the building when I was there. So
when he says big company, he means Pornhub. So just take it with a grain of salt.
So we had to keep these pieces of tape over our phone cameras and our laptop cameras, and that's like. And while I was there, I heard about all the other reasons why you should keep your webcam covered, because hackers can easily access it or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what Zoom is up to. I mean, why not? I think at one point in time, and it's probably still happening, is every Silicon Valley startup makes an application. They're like, oh, and then we'll also gather lots and lots of data about our users.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're going to do with it, but like, we're just going to gather it. Maybe we'll science it up or something, like
what's his name?
Match some numbers together.
Who's the that famous Indian? I don't like saying an American guy whose parents were from India, who is a billionaire, and who just closed his hedge shop or hedge fund and like works.
He closed his head shop.
His head shop.
He got too high. He's a billionaire from selling weed.
No, and now he goes solo, and he was just on Pomp's podcast a few days ago. God, I'm blanking on his name. But he was like, "Oh yeah, and Zoom's great and blah blah." And I invested in Zoom. I'm just thinking like that. Like this is what
he's a VC. Is it like Naval or one of those guys? Naval Ravikant?
Yeah,
him. It is. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Naval. This will be juicy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me make sure that's the right guy because I don't want to start talking about this.
Naval's a Silicon Valley VC who thinks he's Yoda. And like
Ravikant, Naval Ravikant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he's the one who had this famous tweet storm: is how to get rich without being lucky.
Oh no, not that guy. This is okay. No, Naval Ravikant. Isn't he the guy that was sleeping with what's her name? With Elizabeth, not Elizabeth Smart. What's her name from the blood company? What Theraflu?
I don't know. I didn't. The Theraflu girl. I know what you're talking about, but I think we should just leave it there. I think we should just leave it there. Naval Ravikant was sleeping with the Theraflu girl.
I'm trying to think who it was. I'm trying to think. It wasn't, but because I watched the documentary about her, and
You're talking about Theranos, right?
Theranos, yes. Theranos.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Was Naval in that? Was he?
So anyway, whoever one of her original investors was, and like the president of whatever, I think they were dating, and even to the end, he was like, "Oh no, she's legit. This is real. This is real." And people are like, I don't think so, dude.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember that. We'll have our fact checkers check that for us.
So, hey, Pomp, I'm on your... No, that's Blockwork Group. Okay, hold on. I want to get this guy's name because...
So, anyway, the question is Zoom doing shady shit? And
absolutely it is.
So they're doing shady shit. You should get it off your computer. So they totally have the monopoly on meetings. So you can use Whereby. Whereby is the open source version of Zoom, and it's very easy to use. It used to be called Appear In. So that's a really good service. It works exclusively through the web, so you don't have to download anything. Okay. But Zoom does have a lot of features, and that's why I have to use it for my students and stuff.
I mean, are there more features than Google Hangouts or?
Yeah, there's way more features. Like I can give my guests access to control my computer, to share their screens, to break out other rooms so that they can get into smaller groups. It's full of features.
But isn't cool. That the danger? Is that if one person creates a meeting space and doesn't put security protocols in place, that anybody can just go in and like join it or kind of hack in, like get your camera and
if you do that. But I mean, it's not. Yeah, anytime you open your bedroom up to a company, you're at risk. Yeah, anytime. I mean, Google, like whatever the Nest.
No. Even
Nest
the person who created like if I invite a bunch of people to a Zoom hangout and I don't put like specific protections in place, apparently anybody can just join in without us knowing and access our video cameras and microphones.
Yeah, they'd have to have a link, but they wouldn't necessarily be able to control anything if you didn't give that access. I mean, you have to really go into the menus and click that stuff. It's not that easy.
Okay. But, so the person I'm talking about is Chamath Palihapitiya.
That guy. No, I don't know who that is.
I actually really enjoy.
Did he date the Theraflu girl? No, this is somebody.
No, this is different guys. Chamath is actually somebody who I enjoy listening to. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Obviously, he makes some comments I don't agree with now that he's a billionaire, and he's coming at it from that aspect now versus from poor white trash like me.
They all turned into geniuses as soon as they hit that $1 billion mark.
Yeah. So I mean, I respect that he's thinking about different things, and so he's looking at Zoom from a VC standpoint, like, oh my god, yes, everyone's using it, and no one's paying attention to how dangerous and shitty the product actually is for privacy. But that's what VCs love. Like those are the kind of projects that VCs die for because people are just like, here, take all my free information and do whatever you want with it. I don't care.
Or he's funding a rival startup and he wants people, dubious of Zoom. I mean, he's disclosing the stuff on the air, stuff that he knows and he wants people to be aware of.
No, he's saying that he's an investor in it.
Oh, okay.
In Zoom. And that's why I was like, yo, bro, that's not something you want to be bragging about right now with how shady it is. Yeah. That's like, I mean, because that's like bragging, like I'm a huge investor in Facebook. It's like, well, Facebook's a piece of shit. Like I wouldn't want, like, don't brag about that. But because there's so much potential money in it, like
his followers probably follow him because he's got a lot of money and they see him as a successful person.
Who, Pomp probably or Chamath?
Not Chamath. That's okay. Probably why people follow him and want to hear him talk. It's probably not because he's got ethics and morals.
Well, the reason I actually like listening to him is because he seems to have some ethics and morals about a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff, like I said, he's coming at it from a billionaire VC mindset, and I disagree with it. But overall, he's one of those guys where I can politely disagree with because the majority of the stuff I actually agree with what he says. Like he thinks that rich people should be paying more in taxes. He thinks that's the way to fix the problem that we're in right now, is just tax the hell out of rich people. He's like, let's do it. So,
well, what? Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't like. I don't know. I think it's really weird when these private companies that are they're startups. They're not that many people, and they don't have a ton of money to begin with. Like that they're small organizations is what I'm trying to say. And all of a sudden, they become the standard for public schools and public organizations and all this stuff that nobody really got to kind of talk about before it happened because it all happened so quickly. We didn't really get to have a vote on what communication software we were going to use. So yeah.
And and that could be frustrating. Like with just to wrap it up, I used Blackboard when I was in grad school, and that was new because we didn't really have the internet when I was an undergrad. And that's how old I am. But Blackboard was really cool, and that was kind of a standard through a lot of colleges, and it was relatively easy, and you throw your work up there, and I could grade my students' papers and stuff, and it was just a simple tool to use. But that was something that was constantly being beta tested by all these colleges, and I feel like they had an important role in making sure it was safe. And because it's a public university, they had a lot of rules and regulations and hoops Blackboard had to jump through to make sure that students' privacy was kept. Because as a public university, you could be fucking sued to no end.
It's really weird. Even like just small aspects of Zoom, like for instance, like technically we can tell the students, like you can't force students to show their backgrounds. Basically, you can't say, hey, show me your dirty bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain level of privacy that we have to give the students. And I don't work I work at a college. I work at a university. But even there, we can't force the students to even show their faces necessarily on a webcam. Like that's, we can ask them, we can encourage them to do it because it'll make the class better, but we can't say you have to. And so there's kind of these weird like lines that you can't cross. Everybody's learning. Nobody knows how to do this stuff, but yeah, it's weird. There's all kinds of legal things that we just have to set aside in order to get this done.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely dealing with a lot of privacy issues right now, and so we're going to put a poll. I'll put a poll out when we post this episode, and and it'll say something along the lines of like, do you think privacy is being taken seriously enough right now? And or do you even worry about it, or do you just not care? So
that'll be a good poll. I think we're probably going to know the answer to it from our listeners of this podcast, but
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who are just
honest.
like, I don't care. I mean, I'm surprised even on crypto Twitter, people are like, I don't care. Whatever. At this point, they know everything about me. I'm just like, wow. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's a good first episode, right?
Yeah, we sure did talk about Bitcoin and crypto a lot.